It is a case of teen love that allegedly turned deadly. This couple was seen just weeks ago ready for prom.
Did you kill her?
What happened last night?
But now, the boyfriend is in custody accused of his girlfriend's murder. And as you watch his perp walk per WTAE TV, he is not the only one charged in this case.
Do you regret helping?
The twisted and shocking acts police say his mom allegedly did when she found
That my son took a life. 5 words. Spoken not in a courtroom, not under oath, but on a perp walk. A mother, wrists behind her back, camera lights in her face, asked why she was sorry. That was sorry for what happened. Not, I'm sorry for Caroline is gone. She said, that my son took a life. Past tense, complete, admitted. And with those 5 words, the case against Royce Moser didn't just get stronger, it got sealed. Imagine a family photo. Prom night. An 18-year-old girl in a dress, flowers on her wrist, smiling next to a boy who told social media she made celebrating him easy. Now take that photo and fold it in half, then in half again. Then hold it over a flame until the edges curl black and the faces disappear. That is what happened to Caroline Heints. That is the visual anchor of this entire story. A prom picture burned down to ash by a kitchen knife and a mother's choice.
son first. 18-year-old Royce Moser. It was just weeks ago that Royce went to prom. Here he is with his date, his girlfriend, the girl that he gushed over on social media, 18-year-old Caroline Heints. Now, Caroline had a lot going for her. She was a budding college soccer star. Her name is listed on the roster for Pennsylvania Western University in California, PA, which is about an hour south of Pittsburgh. Royce and Caroline seemed inseparable from what we can see on social media. Caroline kept Royce's IG handle on her profile, so people knew that they were together. Just 13 weeks ago, for Royce's birthday, she wrote, quote, "Celebrating you is so easy. I love you." But love can change fast when you're 18 years old. Caroline was headed to college, and being an athlete in college, it's not easy. Royce was not reportedly going to the same school as Caroline. College, also, anybody who's ever had a high school relationship, it can be that fork in the road. People move on. People go in different...
Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Beyond the Gavel file, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence.
His mom did.
Why'd you help your son cover up a murder?
I did not.
This is Rachel Moser covering her face as she is led to jail in Western Pennsylvania per WTAE. And when she gets to the cruiser, it sounds like she makes a shocking admission that could be incredibly damning to her son's case.
Here is what the criminal complaint says. Royce Moser and Caroline Heints were in her car outside his father's house. They were having the conversation every high school couple has before college. Who are we now? What happens next? Are we staying together? Action. And police say Royce did not like where that conversation was going. He told Caroline he had something for her. Not a gift, not a letter. He went inside. He grabbed a large kitchen knife. He came back out. He stabbed her in the chest. She fell from the car. She hit the ground. And the boy who had posed with her at prom did not call for help. He picked her up, put her in the back hatch of her own car, and called his mother.
Into what happened on Thursday, August 20th, in the early hours of the morning. Police say that Royce and Caroline went to a family party. Then it appears it was time for a heart-to-heart in her car outside the house.
Late last night, after a family party, her and the boyfriend get together. They're a younger couple, talking about how relationships can continue, maybe in a college setting. Somewhere that conversation probably goes a little bit south.
We have the criminal complaint in this case, and police say that Royce and Caroline are having this conversation outside his dad's house, and the conversation in some way goes south. And Royce allegedly tells Caroline when she says something he doesn't like, "I have something for you." Police say Royce then goes into the house, he grabs a large kitchen knife, and he comes back out and allegedly stabs Caroline Heints in the chest. Police say Caroline then falls out of the car and onto the ground. Royce, this 18-year-old boy, well, he's a man because he's legally an adult, right? He had just allegedly killed his girlfriend, but he doesn't call 911, doesn't go into his house to tell people what he did. At that moment, police say he picks Caroline's body up, allegedly puts her in the back hatch of her car. Then he allegedly calls his mom. Now, this is where Rachel Moser comes into play, who is Royce's mom.
That call is where this stops being a murder and starts being something else, a cover-up. Rachel Moser allegedly told her son to bring the car to her garage. She gave him disinfectant spray. She gave him latex gloves. She allegedly followed him in her own vehicle as he drove Caroline's car to a public library parking lot. She watched him leave the body of an 18-year-old college soccer player in the back of a car outside a school. Then she took him home. She told him to shower. She took the knife. She threw it away. She washed his clothes.
According to the criminal complaint, Royce calls his mom after he allegedly kills Caroline, and he asks her to meet him to help drop a car off at the school where Caroline goes. Quote, he then admitted to her that he stabbed the victim with a large knife from his house. He then put the victim in the back hatch of the vehicle and needed her to give him a ride back. Now, according to the criminal complaint, Rachel Moser allegedly tells her son to come to her house located in Bealsville, PA. Royce told police that his mom allegedly told her son to put the car in the garage and that she would help him clean the car with disinfectant spray, and she even allegedly gave him latex gloves. Rachel allegedly had a lot more to say to law enforcement and the media as well, which, again, we're just about to talk about. But I want to get into how police came upon this case. Let's go from their perspective here. So Caroline started the night at her family's home. And according to the criminal complaint, her dad tells police that she leaves the house around 9:30. She told him that she was going to make a run to Target, then make her way back to the dorm. And she ends up swinging by the house where Royce is living, which is his dad's house, where this party apparently was going on. Police allege that they end up having this heart-to-heart. And this is where the two get into that conversation. It allegedly goes...
A full erasure protocol executed in under 2 hours. And here is the phrase you need to remember. She chose the cleanup. She chose the cleanup. Not the call to 911. Not the knock on a neighbor's door. She chose the cleanup. And then came the excuse. When investigators asked about the latex gloves, Rachel Moser said she had been picking up dog droppings earlier and simply forgot to take them off. That is the official explanation in the criminal complaint. Dog droppings. She was wearing the same blue gloves that surveillance cameras captured on both her and her son while he drove a dead girl's car. That is not defense strategy. That is panic with a straight face.
From here. In the criminal complaint, Rachel allegedly told investigators that her son said that he had demons who told him to hurt Caroline. He also allegedly said that he didn't know if she was dead or alive. And at no point did this mom call police, not just on her son, but even if there was a chance that Caroline was still alive. Now, as for Royce Moser, here's the WTAE footage of his perp walk. And you can see that he was very stoic as he is brought out into the police cruiser to be brought to jail. His defense potentially might be something related to mental health, because he told police that in this heart-to-heart conversation with Caroline, when she said something he didn't like, quote, demons took over. We'll see how that plays in his case moving forward, because he is facing very serious charges, which include homicide, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and obstruction of law enforcement. As for his mom, Rachel Moser, she is charged with hindering the apprehension of a fugitive, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse, among a couple other charges. And when she was asked about why she was wearing those blue latex gloves, by the way, she allegedly told investigators that she was cleaning up dog droppings before, and she decided to keep the gloves on. Join us now to talk about this investigation, retired NYPD Detective David.
Now here is the ticking clock question. Caroline's father had put an Apple AirTag in her car. At midnight, he saw her location at a public library. He called police. By 2 a.m. they found her. So ask yourself this: if that AirTag had not been there, if that one small tracking device had not been sitting in the glove box or under the seat, how long would this have gone on? How many more hours would Royce and Rachel Moser have had to finish what they started? This is not just a true crime story. This is a race between a mother's attempt to erase evidence and a father's need to find his daughter. And the father won by minutes.
South, Royce stabs Caroline to death. So Caroline's dad knew his daughter's location because she has an Apple AirTag on her so he can see. So around midnight, her dad saw that her location was 100 Wood Street in California, Pennsylvania, and that is the address for the public library. Police say that Caroline's dad, he couldn't get in touch with his daughter, so he calls police, and then they go make the discovery inside her car of Caroline in the back hatch. And that was just about 2 o'clock in the morning. Now you wonder how much the Mosers, Royce and Rachel, if all of this is true, if they really thought things through. Did they think about Caroline potentially having an AirTag on her? And you also wonder if they thought about surveillance footage in the area. Police say when they pulled the surveillance footage, they see Royce driving Caroline's car. And they also notice that Royce was following a vehicle. And it was a car being driven by his mom. And that vehicle was also registered to his mom. And as they watch that video, they can see that both of them are wearing blue latex gloves. So there we are, as we started in the beginning, kind of putting yourself in the shoes of Rachel Moser, and you're like, what would you do in that situation? And this mom did not do, if all of this is true, the right thing.
Here is the part the defense will have to explain. Royce told police that demons took over. He said he did not know if Caroline was dead or alive when he put her in the back of the car. That is the mental health angle being floated before any trial date has been set. But the criminal complaint tells a different story. Royce got out of the car, walked into the house, selected a knife, came back, said he had something for her. That is not demonic possession. That is sequence. That is decision. That is intent.
Yeah, these things I never thought out. You know, I always talk about incidents. You have the incident itself, which is the stabbing. It doesn't seem particularly planned, like it was an event. It seemed to be happening at that moment in time. From the time he, according to what he said, he left the car, said, I have something for you, goes inside, gets a kitchen knife, and stabs her. Everyone usually has a plan for their incident, but the post-event, the post-incident is where people fail on the idea of trying to escape, trying to hide the body. It's impossible to get, it's very difficult to remove a body, to just have a body disappear. Given the fact of his relationship, I don't know if he knew their parents, the girl's parents, because they seem to be very conscientious. That's the reason why they're doing what parents do now. They track her phone. They have an AirTag in the vehicle. So they want to make sure she's safe, because again, her first year in college, she's going to become a soccer player. She's away from home. They just want to know where she is. And that's really what comes down to it. The initial investigation starts very quickly. I think they started around 12:15 for wellness check. And that's when they know the car's around there. And the perp here in this case, and the mother, they don't know what to do. They think if we put it there, nothing is going to happen of it. But this is where you're not talking about criminal minds here. You're not talking about real villains in this. They're perpetrators of a crime, but they didn't think this out too clearly. And I don't think any of this was thought out. They just thought the best thing they could do is, we'll clean up a little bit and then go and drop the car off where she goes to school. Everyone will know what will happen. I mean, it's not that hard. The footprints are going to be found anyway. You can track it right back to the scene.
And like looking at some of the things, just reading through the criminal complaint here. So you have Royce Moser. He calls his mom, Rachel. He goes to her house, and, he was hoping he could use disinfectant spray to clean the car. She then gave him latex gloves and told him to follow the vehicle toward the university. They left the vehicle in the parking lot, got in the car.
And then, after the stabbing, he did not wander into traffic or collapse in confusion. He called his mother. He coordinated. He followed her car. He changed his clothes. A boy who cannot understand. What he did does not ask for latex gloves.
In the same direction in life. And certainly when you look at what he's accused of and his family, it kind of speaks to the quality of person, if all of this is true. When it comes to his defense, because law enforcement has said that they were outside of a house after some sort of family party at his dad's house, and they end up, they made it seem like a breakup was kind of about to go down, because she's going to college, and that's what happens, right? It's often a fork in the road in relationships when people head off to school. We've all been there. But then he's saying now that demons were telling him to do it. And it seems like this mental health kind of defense is being built, and we'll see if his defense attorney would go in that direction. How do you balance, like, on one hand, and this is, may play out in court, the motive of being he's really angry that maybe she's breaking up with him and the relationship's going south. And then you have this, well, the demons were telling me to hurt my girlfriend.
But he also says, I have something for you, and leaves the vehicle. So when you talk about that, and you're going to talk about the defense, it's going to be refuted, I guarantee you, by the prosecutor, unless they can show a true psychiatric history of this kid, and I don't think there is one. This is just saying what it is. He realized he got out of the vehicle, said, I have something for you, gets out of the vehicle, goes to the home, his father's house, goes to the kitchen, grabs a knife. It's not like this is, and comes back out and then stabs her. I'm presuming she's in the driver's side. I'm presuming she drove there. And there's probably going to be some record that she told him that she was going to be over there. So there's going to be some text messages also. You're going to go back in the background of their relationship anyway. You're going to talk to the father, you're going to talk to the family. And again, the family is, I can't imagine getting that call and finding out your daughter's dead, stabbed to death. And, this is the only time she's going off, and you see that it's a tragedy in that sense. And to try to lay the blame on demons is not going to fly for anybody. I can't see it working, because it isn't like I saw red and I just did it. He actually had time to think about going from the car to getting the knife to going in there and stabbing her. She falls out of the car. He dumps her back. He puts her back dumps her into the back of the car. So this isn't somebody who's not able to understand what they did, because not only that, you brought your mother into it by going to her house and asking her to help you to clean up.
Well, and I know like the heat of passion defense, like we'll hear about that, and that's really hard to prove, but there are examples of it where someone's so angry in the moment that, they didn't have control over what they were doing. Like the fact that he got out of the car, goes into the house and gets a kitchen knife, and then comes back out, to me, that would throw any attempt at that defense out the window.
Yeah. And he drove the car. He drove in the car that she drove to, the victim drove in, and he's sitting in her blood. That's the thing about it. He's sitting in her blood and drove to his house, his mom's house. So I guarantee you and this is late in the evening, so I guarantee you there's communication on phone calls that they're going to have, of calls like that. You're going to deal with the cell site locations and all of this. There might be text messages, who knows? But that's not going to fly, because if there's communication after, and they can show this communication between the mom and him while he's going to the scene, that going to her house to clean up, there's no heat of passion there. Heat of passion, what you would think about is like right then and there, you grab somebody, or all of a sudden there's a knife right there and you stab him. He thought about going to get that knife, and his statement, what he says to the troopers in that interrogation, really seals the deal. I have something for you. That's not something you would say if you're, because they're breaking up probably. I have something for you. That's not what you do. That is intent.
Rachel Moser now faces charges including hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. That last one matters. Abuse of a corpse. She did not pull the knife, but according to the criminal complaint, she helped dispose of the body. She helped leave Caroline in a car outside a library like a bag of trash. And when the cameras caught her on the perp walk, she gave the prosecution the line they will play in closing arguments. She chose the cleanup.
Instead, she allegedly tried to help her son cover up a murder. Police say after Rachel and Royce leave the vehicle at the library, they go back to Rachel's house, which is about 15 minutes away. And when they get to the home, Royce allegedly said that his mom told him to take a bath and a shower and to change clothes. And she allegedly took the knife, the murder weapon, and put it in the trash. Police have that murder weapon, by the way. And they also say that she threw Royce's clothes away. Now, I don't know how secretive the Mosers thought they were in this case, but police were right on their trail because they had the surveillance video. And with hours, the two of them were brought in for questioning and they were put under arrest. Here is Rachel's perp walk per WTAE. And I want you to listen to what it appears she says to media members when she is asked why she allegedly would do this.
Tell us why you're sorry.
My son took a life.
Now that is incredibly damning to her son's case, no matter the direction it goes.
Not the truth. So here is where you come in. The full criminal complaint for Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Royce Moser and Rachel Moser is a public record. It is available through the Pennsylvania court system. Read it. Go to the section where Rachel Moser describes the blue latex gloves. Read what she told investigators. Then ask yourself one question. If your child called you at midnight and said he had stabbed someone, and you had those same gloves in your hand, what would you do? Answer in the comments. Then, like this video, share it with someone who needs to see how fast love turns to evidence. And subscribe to Beyond the Gavel File with notifications on, because the next time a story like this breaks, we will already be at the courthouse steps.